Hello and welcome. In today's grammar lesson, we'll explore transitive and intransitive verbs, two essential verb types that help us understand how action connects to objects in a sentence. Don't worry, it's easier than it sounds. I will show you how to identify each one, how they work in a real sentence. By the end of this lesson, you'll be able to distinguish between them confidently and use both in your own writing correctly. Let's get started. A transitive verb is a verb that has a direct object. What is a direct object? A direct object is a word that receives the action of the transitive verb. You ask yourself what after the verb if you find an answer. So this is the direct object. I kicked the ball. Kicked what? The ball will be the answer. So this is the direct object. Direct object for the transitive verb kicked. Unlike the transitive verb, the intransitive verb does not have a direct object, but both of them are action verbs. Here to determine the direct object in the sentence, you need to ask yourself what or whom after the verb. Finding an answer means that the verb is transitive. Not finding an answer that means the verb is intransitive. And the first example says, the boy lost his jacket. Lost what? His jacket will be the answer, so this is a direct object. The baby cried loudly. Cried what? Loudly is not an answer. So this is an intransitive verb. In practice A says, identify transitive verbs and their objects. I have a worked example here says, Eric cuts hair for a living. If you ask yourself what after cuts, you will get the answer hair. Hair is the direct object to the transitive verb cuts. Let's go ahead with the examples. Dad bought diving lessons for Susanna's birthday gift. Where is the verb here? It's very clear. Boat. Boat what? Diving lessons. So diving lessons is the direct object for the transitive verb boat. Chanel has blue eyes. Chanel has what? Blue eyes is the direct object to the verb has, so it's a transitive verb. Sally wears a watch in her left wrist. Wears is the verb. Wears what? A watch is the answer and is the direct object to this transitive verb. In example 4 says, Genesis cooks dinner for her family on Wednesdays nights, or for the family on Wednesday nights. Cooks, cooks what? Dinner is the direct object to the verb cooks. And the last example says, the tree dropped leaves into the yard. The verb dropped has a direct object, leaves, so it's a transitive verb. In practice B, let's distinguish between the transitive verb and the intransitive verb. Once more time, to determine that you need to ask yourself what or whom after the verb. Finding an answer means that the verb is transitive, and this answer is the direct object for this transitive verb. Again, Chanel made plans with her friends. Made what? Plans. Plans is a direct object to the verb made. That means that is a transitive verb. The call lasted longer than usual. Lasted what? Longer is not an answer. So the verb lasted is intransitive verb. Lily works at the gym on Wednesdays or on Tuesdays. Worked with at the gym is not an answer. So the verb works is an intransitive verb. John babysits his cousins after school. Babysits what or whom? His cousins will be the direct object to the transitive verb babysits. You can do that with the rest of examples and tell me in the comments and I will reply you back. The last thing I want you to know that some transitive verbs also allow an indirect object. The indirect object is a person or a thing that benefits or receives the direct object. The structure of the sentence will be like that, starting with the subject, followed by the transitive verb, comes the direct object first, add the indirect object first, and then the direct object. She gave me a gift. If you ask yourself, gave what? The answer will be here, a gift. So this is the direct object for the verb gave, and me is the indirect object for it. The same, the same with the second example, sent. Sent what? An email will be the answer. So the direct object is here. My friend is the indirect object. The last example, they taught the students a lesson. They taught what? A lesson. So here is the direct object for this verb taught, and the students is the indirect object. Thank you for watching. That was today's lesson. Stay tuned for more videos.